Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Happy versus FoCuS here on Twisted Meadows 1.1. Gonna go ahead and get into 8 times speed as Happy is spawned as the pink undead on the northwestern side of the map, going up against FoCuS, who is, well, opening things up with a very fast tech to tier 2, going for Farseer first. We don't see a barracks, and that tech to tier 2 before the hero is even out in play. Yeah, I finally made it to my first Crota stream. Long time YouTube Crota fan. Well, thank you for all of the YouTube fans out there. Especially big thank you to those who are supporting the channel either through Patreon or subbing on Twitch. If you do have a free Twitch sub to use or just want to support the channel, super cheers, bits, and well, all of that jazz. If you want to support me, you probably already know how. Don't want to focus too much time on that. Instead, let's focus on FoCuS, trying to get a surround on a Happy's a Death Knight there. Death Coil finishing off that Null Overseer as the unit now looking to retreat back. Who knows the ways of Blizzard? How do you choose the replay you comment? If you've followed my channel for a while, I do actually have a replay picker. So someone who scans replays and make sure that they are interesting, even if they are not recommended by WarCraft 3 info. So things that have interesting strategies, have interesting lead changes in the games, games that are relatively close and not always just one-sided. Those were the comments that I want to say, that I wanted for my replays, right? Like kind of like in like race car, like Formula 1 or NASCAR, or like the difference between, I think I made this comment, like NASCAR is often interesting because you often get a lot of lead changes and it changes quite often, as opposed to in Formula 1. You might actually have more lead changes in one single NASCAR race than an entire Formula 1 season, I've heard. So not that I'm an expert at either of those particular two sports. Anyways, Farseer now making its way down here, gonna chase after the ghouls. It looks like Happy is very aggressive on the ghoul count right now, and going in for over 5 or 6 ghouls as well. And coming back around, Farseer looking to get in a little bit of damage here, and well, Death Knight now actually stuck between a tree and some Spirit Wolves, trying to break his way free. New Spirit Wolves getting resummoned and now needs to try and break his way back out again, but unable to do so as his own units were causing a bit of a problem. Is Happy going to end up losing his Death Knight? No, he's not going to lose his Death Knight. He's going to hold on to his Death Knight at 55 hit points because that is what Happy does. Being able to stay alive with a 55 hit point Death Knight. Death Coil onto the unit right there. Cloak of Shadows is going to get picked up. He picks up the Cloak of Shadows after getting surrounded, and now, well, needs to try and break free. Meanwhile, what's happening the other side here? Death Knight, if he wants to come by, uses the Dust of Appearance, going to force a Scroll of Town Portal, and that Death Knight with Unholy Aura able to stay alive. Beautiful exchange right there. Those small interesting plays. That Death Knight getting trapped up into a corner, getting attacked by Spirit Wolves, and the ranged attack of that Farseer nearly took him out. But Happy being very cool, calm, and collected, using a Ritual Dagger in addition to Unholy Aura, able to stay alive. That Cloak of Shadows timing, allowing the Farseer to stay in that spot, but eventually having to use that Scroll of Town Portal anyways. Death Coil saving that low hit point ghoul as the Spirit Wolves are still diving on in. Happy is getting pressured, but he doesn't look like he's about to even bend or break, as he has a brilliant hold against all of that there. Now, Happy, knowing that his opponent did a very fast tech to tier 2 before really establishing any units, quickly going into tier 3 before, well, starting that slaughterhouse, but did start that lich. Now, FoCuS, however, has transitioned into an interesting strategy, and by interesting, I mean it is either going to be absolutely devastating or completely fall flat once these Wind Riders are revealed to be out in play. All right, there is a large focus of, well, ghouls out here onto the battlefield. Farseer, oh, Dust of Appearance. You remember that the Death Knight had bought Dust of Appearance earlier, and now we could be looking at a double hero kill of level 1 proportions, as the Wind Riders are now looking to perhaps take down the Death Knight, or perhaps pick off some trailing units. Even if those units are picked off, however, no experience will be given, as both heroes were actually taken down. Tech to tier 3 nearly done. Are we going for quick Envenom Spears? That would be a strategy that I have not seen in quite some time. Or, ooh, taking down the creep before your hero is even out. I guess you do get a little bit of gold, and you deny your opponent some easy experience. Yeah. Coming back around, well, boulder to the head onto that Lich. Wind Riders now trying to make their way over, trying to pick apart some of these ghouls or some of these other units. Ensnared Ghoul. One ghoul going to get taken down. Lich could perhaps try go for a Frost Nova as well, trying to gain some experience out on the board, as we see an ensnare onto the Wind Rider. Wind Rider now going to be forced to retreat back. Web could be researched here in just a moment. No web as of yet. Just 2 Crypt Fiends out on the battlefield, as the Shadow Hunter quickly making a play over. Now, are we getting up those Envenom Spears? I don't see it just quite yet. Envenom Spears, however, do rack up quite a bit of damage over time. And I still think if somehow the Wind Riders, you give them, well, you give them the ability to go from 4 supply to 3 supply, they would actually be very useful at tier 3. Right now, those are 4 supply units with only 570 hit points, as the Shadow Hunter escapes away at 48 hit points. Not quite sure how close. Well, that was an extremely close fight there, but he does pick up a Scroll of the Beast. Now, going after the Forest Troll Warlord here in Venom Spears, you can see the damage, how much it adds up quickly as the Shadow Hunter gets up to level 2. We should be looking at a healing wave bouncing around to heal up more of these units as well. Back off to the north, Death Knight and Lich finally clearing up the remainder of this Rock Golem creep camp, which was started so long ago. Now, the benefit of mass Wind Riders with this current army is how quickly this army can clear out creep camps right now, just because of the high mobility. Air units generally move faster, but more importantly, or just as important, because they don't have to worry about the terrain nearly as much, they can keep up with their heroes. By keeping up with their heroes, they can move from one creep camp to another with speed and accuracy, and we should be looking at multiple level 3 heroes, if not close to level 4 here in just a second. Twisted Meadows is a very large map, as you guys can see. And there's a fairly large amount of space between all of these creep camps. Undead of Happy looking to clear out some of these center merchant shops as well. This shop will get cleared up. Meanwhile, this gold mine will get cleared up too. Shadow Hunter come bearing gifts and an expansion in a tiny Great Hall already being established right here, and this expansion will be up and operational in pretty much no time flat. Farseer picking up a mana stealing, not the item that he was looking for, but any way you can try and deny your opponent a Death Coil or a Frost Nova is still useful. Speaking of Death Coils and Frost Nova, both Death Knight and Lich pretty much maxed out on mana. One Obsidian statue pretty much drained of mana already. Perhaps that was the early one there. No absorb mana on that. Oh, wait, excuse me. Take it back. Absorb mana on that destroyer, as the reinforced defense is already done for the Orc Burrows. All right. What is going down here? We are looking at reinforced defenses trying to hold off the attack. Wind Rider is going to try and dive and engage. And are we going to be going into a base race scenario this early on in the game? 11 supply, and you can see the Wind Riders going straight after all of these units here. Chain Lightning bouncing around. Acolytes getting taken down. There goes another Acolyte again. Scroll of Town Portal trying to finish things off, but all of the Acolytes are just getting pelted down so quickly. Death Coil onto a Headhunter, but not in time at all. All right. What is happening here? Healing Salve, Scroll of Town Portal, hit and run tactics could become commonplace. No more barracks, as that was destroyed. A handful of Orc burrows were taken down as well, but FoCuS does have this expansion up and excuse me, up and running. All right, Shadowhunter sitting at 3. Farseer sitting at 3, going up against a level 3 Death Knight and a level 3 Lich. Are we going to be looking at clearing out a difficult red creep camp? That does seem to be the case. They're summoning some Spirit Wolves, and here we go, off to the races already. Going straight after that Force Troll Warlord, who has Inner Fire and some additional armor. Pendant of Mana picked up by the Farseer, up to 280, 625 mana. Now looking to back away. The Shadowhunter could perhaps be gain much from there, as we're going to be looking at the armies trying to fight once more. Shadowhunter could have a little bit of a bad day, as the Shadowhunter now needs to, well, perhaps try and back away. Wind Riders are going after the Destroyers. Destroyers, remember, are light or have light armor, so they are going to be taking an absolute pelting just from one volley of those Wind Riders there. You can see a little bit of damage, that damage over time, how much it does, as we see a roar coming back across. Are we going to see more death onto those Destroyers there? Multiple low hit point Destroyers, but we are now looking at, well, Devour Magic. Wind Riders going after Crypt Fiends, could have to go also after those Obsidian Statues and Destroyers. It looks as though the Destroyer able to back away. Chain Lightning finishing off some of those ghouls. 46 supply compared to 62. Happy is now currently low on supply, trying to back away. Those Envenom Spears do deal quite a bit of damage over time, and it looks like they will be able to back off easily. FoCuS now transitioning, rotating back off to the north here. We do not see a War Mill getting any sort of weapon upgrades. 62 supply compared to 82. Handful of low hit point everything. Destroyers, Crypt Fiends, all of those units, maybe 150 hit points between the two of them, as they are slowly getting healed back up. All right. Envenom Spears are doing quite a bit of damage. Meanwhile, FoCuS now sitting at 71 over 82 supply, looking to build an experienced lead any way it can. However, even though FoCuS, it felt like he won that last battle, is still behind on the experience race and looking to clear out this expansion here to, well, make up for it. Farseer has that Pendant of Mana, perhaps what should have been given to the Shadowhunter before that healing wave was used around, as we are looking at an engagement here. Farseer, Shadowhunter, are we going to see a Scroll of Town Portal? Are we going to try to get back out? And here we are. There's a, well, web. There's a lot of damage. There's a Death Quell for the save here. Both sides are fighting. There goes one Wind Rider. Crypt Fiends are able to back away. It feels like just two very low hit point Crypt Fiends, as we see a double level up on opposing sides. Triple level up now, as we are perhaps going to be looking at a Destroyer trying to get back in and engage. All right, there goes another unit there. Wind Riders, both sides just falling apart. Happy down to 34 supply compared to 61, as Dark Rituals being used to try and replenish that mana. All right, Death Knight looking to clear out this bottom left-hand side, this Rock Golem creep camp. That Lich does have some big damage. Also, Sobi Mask. Death Knight with that Ring of Regeneration constantly healing up more and more, as the Shadowhunter looking to clear out this Rock Golem creep camp alongside that Farseer, hiding nicely under the Wind Riders. All right, mass Wind Rider strategy. How well is it going to work out? True Shot Aura definitely going to improve the odds of this massive range army dealing in a lot more damage, as the Wind Riders going to be benefiting from a 7% damage increase, perhaps +3, +4, +3 damage overall per unit. Shadowhunter also comes bearing another tiny Great Hall. And we've seen in years past Twisted Meadows being a map where players do in fact set up a large number of expansions. All right, both sides are trying to share what is going on. Destroyers are here. We're going to be seeing about some big item picks up. Orb of Darkness, a big item right there, dealing quite a bit of damage, but that could be a double-edged sword, as there are Destroyers out here onto the battlefield, which means that those Destroyers would be able to devour magic very easily. Big Frost Nova across multiple Wind Riders again. We do not see a Panda anywhere in the future coming in from Happy for that Breath of Fire for those tightly grouped up Wind Riders. Wind Riders now once more making their way off to the north, perhaps going to try and put pressure here. Expansion is still highly operational and functional here, as the Wind Riders are getting into position again. Now, I do wonder whether or not the Shadowhunter purposely buying a tiny Great Hall and then not using it was a little bit of a head fake to make it look like he's trying to expand but hasn't had the opportunity to do so yet. 56 supply compared to 69. Here we are. There's the engagement. All right, quick ensnare, or no, quick hex onto the crab, and we see some big damage right there. Wind Riders getting picked off, now giving level 5 to that Lich. Level 3 Frost Nova, well, can in fact be very deadly. Wind Riders, Farseer, Shadowhunter do in fact need to level up and level up quickly. Happy has been staying at no upkeep for quite some time now, perhaps waiting to build up a bank more of units. Meanwhile, Wind Riders are still coming back around. You got to expect a fight to be played at the expansion now. Happy, you can't hide an expansion from Happy for very long, and he'll quickly scout it out, though forcing an engagement. Now, this army is very strong at fighting against, the particular combination of FoCuS here, as we're going to be going into an engagement now. All right, dual Orc Burrows. Orc Burrows are trying to fight back here. Lich is going to be coming back around, trying to get a good Frost Nova across multiple units and delaying those Wind Riders from engaging. No silence. There's a Frost Nova there. There's a quick Hex. Scroll of Speed now going after all of those units as the units are looking to retreat back. Farseer still trying to, head back here. Healing Wave going back around. Lich going to try and dive on in once more, trying to time that Hex so that it doesn't get the Frost Nova off, as the Shadowhunter could be in trouble. All right, Chain Lightning bouncing around. Damage is racking up. Tauren Chieftain out here onto the battlefield as well. Does have Endurance Aura, trying to, make this army attack and move just a little bit faster. Healing Wave still bouncing back around. Shadowhunter and a Farseer are at level 5. Shadowhunter getting very close to level 5, continues to pick off more units as the Death Knight now gets up to level 5 instead. Destroyer could get taken down. No, Destroyer able to stay alive at 103 hit points. Now Devouring Magic, not giving chase. The Tauren Chieftain with Endurance Aura unable to keep up, as we see a Death Coil onto that Lich. All right, more healing, more Death Coil healing as the units are retreating back. 39 supply compared to 70, as a couple of these skeletal minions are going to get cleaned up here. Is it going to give? Yes, Shadowhunter does get to level 5 off of that one, skeletal dark minion. Dark Ranger now getting added in as the counter to the Tauren Chieftain, as the Tauren Chieftain may try to come across, get in a stomp or something of that nature off. Yeah, Twisted Meadows providing some cool, interesting games again. Back down to the south side here. Looking at a little bit of a dance back and forth. Destroyers, Obsidian statues, 3 heroes. Undead, all you need are your heroes and Obsidian statues for the Undead, and that seems to be the case now. Tauren Chieftain going to try to dive on in. Web not cast at all. Death Coil saving a low hit point Crypt Fiend. He comes back in for another round of attacks, but Death taken down. Tauren Chieftain trying to get up to level 2. Desperately wants Stomp. There goes a bit of Frost Nova across that tightly packed group of Wind Riders, as they're having some problems trying to keep up with this fast-moving army. Tauren Chieftain still leading the charge here. More damage getting racked up once again. Lich does not have enough mana for a Frost Nova just quite yet, as we temporary slowdown on that slow-moving Death Knight. Looked like there was a level up. Yes, Tauren Chieftain ends up getting a stomp just in time before the silence goes down, as the Dark Ranger is still trying to retreat back again. Wind Riders trying to get in more damage on all of those trailing Obsidian statues, but really want to land damage onto those Destroyers. 73 supply compared to 42. Happy has been in control, FoCuS has been in the supply lead for about 70% of this game, and it looks like FoCuS can still take this game, but if somehow Happy is able to win this match, it would be similar to like a football game where where one team only has possession for 12 minutes out of the 90 and still somehow able to walk away with the win. Anyways, we're looking at the Farseer, the Shadowhunter, and the Tauren Chieftain 5-5-2 going up against Death Knight, Lich, and Dark Ranger, still getting quite a bit of experience and wanting to level up that Dark Ranger even more. coming back around. Tauren Chieftain, all it could take is just one bad AoE damage onto these Wind Riders, and suddenly the army can disappear. That is the danger. Shadowhunter in trouble. No potion of invulnerability in time. Hex onto the Death Knight. Death Knight able to break free right there. Shadowhunter now needs to back away, knowing that it can be a big target for Frost Nova, just like that. All right, are the wheels starting to fall off of FoCuS's army? Tauren Chieftain getting silenced right there. Tauren Chieftain should try and lay down a stomp as the Farseer continuing to rack up more damage. There is the stomp onto the Lich. Chain Lightning still backing around. Crypt Fiends could get taken down as we're looking at the more units getting racked up again. There goes another Frost Nova. 74 supply compared to 43. Wind Riders continuing to chase after all of these units as the Tauren Chieftain could throw down a stomp but does not. Instead gets another Frost Nova across all of those Wind Riders again. Wind Riders just simply too slow to catch up to actually deal the necessary damage to the Undead army. 43 supply compared to 70 as the Farseer looking to back up and retreat. Remember, FoCuS is running on 3 bases. FoCuS is running on 2 bases. Meanwhile, Happy is running on 0. What you see is what you get. And, FoCuS says, you know what? If my gold mines run out, that means that you have no gold mines. I can back up, I can reset, and I can rebound faster than you can. Perhaps max out all of my items before charging back in again. Ball is in your court, Happy. How are you going to play it out? Acolytes now looking to haunt a gold mine off at that 10 o'clock position, but Spirit Wolves quickly have found where that is going to go. And here we are going into an engagement already. Deathquell, Frost Nova, Shadowhunter, Scroll of Healing, trying to stay alive and quickly already getting silenced. Shadowhunter trying to retreat back away. Are we going to get a healing wave in time? First, there's a black arrow. There's a healing wave as the Death Knight gets hexed. Death Knight with that Hex, that Death Coil is still on cooldown. Chain Lightning backing around. Death Knight, is he going to try and run away? There's the Death Coil onto the Shadowhunter. Shadowhunter down to 100 hit points. He gets taken down by another Frost Nova as both sides are fighting their way through. One Obsidian statue, however, gets left behind, and the Obsidian statues are the glue that holds the Undead army together. If that glue starts to break, well, there's still 2 Obsidian statues now, but that could be risky. All right, more fights getting underway. Big Frost Nova across multiple Wind Riders. Multiple Wind Riders in danger of getting taken down. The Lich, however, doesn't have enough cooldown here as we see level 3 on that Dark Ranger. There goes another big Frost Nova. How many red hit point Wind Riders are there as the Lich could get up to level 6 easily? There is a stomp onto the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger gets taken down here as we are looking at multiple Acolytes getting finished off. 67 supply compared to 25, but one nasty Frost Nova, and now suddenly the Farseer gets taken down, giving level 6 to that Lich. Level 6 Lich, however, in comes a stomp. Death Coil for the save right there. Long distance airmail as there's a nasty Frost Nova across multiple Wind Riders, giving level 6 to the Death Knight. Lich already halfway to level 7, going back and forth as the Obsidian statues keeping the Death Knight and the Lich topped off again. All right, is this going to be the prediction? The Orc army having possession, having the supply lead for the vast majority of the game, only to see those Wind Riders, their low hit point for supply, feeding the experience of the Death Knight and the Lich to give them level superiority. All right, Lich ready to go here. Shadowhunter back out on the battlefield. Unfortunately for FoCuS, the Shadowhunter had never found any survivability items. A level 5 hero with only 675 hit points. Meanwhile, FoCuS is still running up on 2 bases as the Lich, well, does he have Death and Decay? No, he does not. Level 2 Dark Ritual to go work alongside that Dark Ranger who has those black arrows. All right, Orc Burrow fighting back here. More Lich continuing to sacrifice those skeletal warriors to get more and more mana. That Lich already up to 469. All right, Happy now was in a 2 base versus 1 base scenario, and somehow now in a 1 or 2 base versus 0 scenario, and somehow still in this game. 26 supply army compared to 39. Is what is going to be going down here? Perhaps a town hall will be placed down, allowing FoCuS to set up another expansion. perhaps both the Farseer and the Shadowhunter very low on overall maximum hit points, and the Tauren Chieftain constantly getting silenced will really detracts from him as well, from being able to be an effective frontline stunner to stop the Death Quell and Frost Novas from finding their target. Add into the fact that the Undead has level 3 Unholy Aura on that Death Knight, and it is no surprise that with the slowing of the Frost Nova and the movement speed of the Death Knight, that the Undead have been able to get into positional fights quite easily. Back down to the south side here, Tauren Chieftain looking to gain a little bit more experience, picking up another True Shot Aura. Perhaps that little bit of damage bonus will actually help out, as the Tauren Chieftain also has level 4 Endurance Aura now going for him for that faster movement speed. All right, Tauren Chieftain picking up the Manual of Health, even though I feel as though the Shadow Hunter or the Shadow Hunter in particular should have been the primary recipient of that. 27 minutes into this game, still no clear-cut winner. All right, heading off to the island expansion to the top right here. Tauren Chieftain, Farseer, Shadowhunter are going to try and engage against this Granite Golem creep camp. Are we going to summon some Spirit Wolves? There goes one Drake, another. Well, there were some Spirit Wolves right there trying to go after all of those units. The Granite Golem taking quite a bit of damage, and that damage over time as it gets taken down. A blue Drake Egg, Tome of Strength +2. Is this going to be enough here? Scroll of Town Portal could be used to try and retreat all the way back now. There is an expansion already up and operational to get a little bit of gold. And what is going on here? Red Drake, or the blue Drake, now trying to make its way over. And are we turning this into a base race scenario? All right, Undead heroes do not deal that much damage. And this is just pure magic damage and no piercing damage, just pure magic damage and heroic damage, except for those dark minions. All right, we could be going into an engagement here. Blue Drake now looking to go after. Wind Riders are showing up to the party, as well as the Goblin Zeppelin. Perhaps the Tauren Chieftain should get out and run, as FoCuS ends up taking the game. Apparently FoCuS apparently happy giving up in the end, knowing that he can't both defend his own base and perhaps clear up the expansion that FoCuS had already set up. Kind of anticlimactic at the very end there, with so many exciting moments throughout that game, though. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys check me out next time. Leave comments below.